Hello, and welcome to r/nosleep with Stephen. This story was posted by the user known as randomquestions27296, and it is called The House That Calls to You. My little brother Danny disappeared 10 days ago. He's 13, still drinks chocolate milk with dinner, still falls asleep during movies. That night, he said he was walking home from school. He never made it back. The police found nothing, except that his phone pinged once, briefly, right in front of 41 Cypress Lane. That house. Crooked porch, dead lawn, always empty, always wrong. They wouldn't go in, said it was condemned, so we waited, until last night, when Danny came back. I found him on the front porch at 2 a.m, barefoot, blank-eyed, swaying slightly. "I got lost," he whispered. "Can I come in?" He doesn't eat, doesn't blink enough, paces at night, stares at mirrors like he's listening to something on the other side. When I ask where he went, he says, "I don't remember, but I've heard him talk in his sleep." She sings in the floorboards. There's too many stairs down there. I can't hear my name anymore. Last night, I followed him. I knew he'd try to go back. Around 3:15 a.m, he slipped out the front door again and started walking down Cypress Lane. I didn't call out, I just followed, barefoot, heart pounding, trying not to think. He walked right up to 41. The front door was open. The light inside was wrong. Faint and yellow, like candlelight filtered through fog. Danny stepped in without a pause. I stood on the front porch for a second. I told myself I was going in to bring him back. I stepped through, and everything changed. The house isn't empty. It isn't even a house. Not really. The insides stretch too far. The walls bend away when you reach for them. The wallpaper breathes. The floorboards sigh when you walk. And the air smells like rot and something sweeter underneath. I called Danny's name. No answer, only silence. And then, a laugh. High and soft, childlike, coming from upstairs. I ran towards it. The staircase twisted as I climbed, like I was walking in circles. There were too many steps. At the top, I found a hallway that shouldn't exist. All the doors were open except one. From inside, I heard my mother's voice. "It's time for dinner, sweetheart." Then Danny's voice. "Okay, Mum." But my mother isn't here. I opened the door. Inside was a perfectly normal room. Kitchen table, warm light, Mum standing at the stove. Danny sitting at the table smiling. He looked up at me. "You made it." I stepped back. His smile didn't change, but his eyes did. They turned completely black. Everything started flickering. The room melted. The walls pulsed and throbbed, bleeding shadow. The kitchen collapsed inward, and behind it, I saw them. Hundreds of them, all identical, standing still in rows in the dark, facing forward. All with that same black-eyed smile. Behind them, something taller rose. Thin, boneless. Its mouth a circle, stretched wide. Singing in a voice that sounded like my brother's laugh, warped through a drain pipe. I ran. I didn't know how long. The house shifted, floors turning into stairs, doors leading to brick walls, lights flickering with no source. I kept running. I think it let me. I burst out the front door just as the sun cracked over the rooftops. My lungs burned. My feet were bleeding. I didn't stop until I reached my front yard. Danny isn't here anymore. Not the thing that wore him. There's just silence, and my mum crying. We filed a report. The police said I must have had some kind of episode. Stress, grief, hallucinations. But I know what I saw. That wasn't my brother. I went back today, just to see. The house is still there. Empty, dark, windows blank. But as I turned to leave, I glanced up. Second story window. Danny was there, smiling. He mouthed something I couldn't hear, but I knew what he said. "Come back." I won't, because that thing isn't him. My brother is dead. The house is just wearing him now, and it's still hungry. This story was posted by a Reddit user called OKResort8376, and the title is "The Reflection That Wasn't Me." I don't expect anyone to believe me. Hell, I barely believe it myself most days. But every time I look into a mirror, I remember that house, and that thing in the glass. This happened about 6 years ago. I just moved to upstate New York after a rough breakup. Found this old duplex that was way too cheap to pass up. Run down, but livable. Hardwood floors that cracked like bones, plumbing that screamed when you ran hot water, and a constant draft no matter how tightly I shut the window. But I was broke, alone, and tired of couch surfing, so I signed a lease. The bedroom had this full-length mirror bolted to the closet door. It looked antique. Wooden frame, slightly warped glass. I liked the vintage vibe at first. But after a couple of nights, I started noticing small things. When I walked by the mirror, sometimes my reflection didn't move exactly in sync. It was just a split-second delay, like a lag. Once or twice, I thought I saw something move in the background of the reflection, but nothing was there when I turned around. I chalked it up to being overtired. I was still adjusting to the new place, new job, and honestly, I was drinking more than I should have. But one night, I woke up around 3 a.m, completely freezing, like I could see my breath kind of cold. The window was shut, but the room felt like a meat locker. I sat up in bed and instantly looked toward the mirror. There was someone standing in it. Not in my room, in the mirror. It wasn't me. This person, thing, was tall and thin, with sunken features and eyes that were just black voids. No whites, no pupils, just black, and it was staring at me, head slightly tilted, like it was trying to understand what it was looking at. I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. I just sat there staring back. Eventually, I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, and just like that, the figure was gone. No one in the room. Mirror back to normal. I told myself it had to be a dream, some vivid nightmare, maybe sleep paralysis. The next day, I took the mirror off the door and dragged it to the basement. Thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. A few days later, I noticed a handprint on the bathroom mirror after a shower. Nothing weird, except it was inside the glass, not on the surface. No amount of wiping would clean it. It was like it was behind the mirror somehow. The next day, it was back. Same print, same position. Then things got worse. I started avoiding mirrors altogether. But one night, brushing my teeth, I saw it again. My reflection was just wrong. I was frozen, toothbrush in hand, but my reflection turned its head slightly, and then smiled. A wide, slow, deliberate smile. One I wasn't making. I dropped the toothbrush and ran. Didn't sleep in that house again. I called in sick the next day, rented a truck, and moved out that weekend. Left the mirror, the bed, half my clothes. Didn't care. I just wanted out. To this day, I cover mirrors when I sleep. I avoid looking at my reflection for too long, because sometimes, late at night, I swear I still catch a glimpse of something watching me, and every so often, I see that smile again, and I know I didn't make it. This story was posted by the user known as AS_eSmith, and it is called The Strange House in the Woods. 3 years ago I decided to explore a house in the middle of a forest. Everything started when I went jogging in the woods, a few miles away from my house. I love jogging there because it was very quiet since it's far from any habitation. I decided to explore that place because of my curiosity. From the outside, the house seemed to be abandoned for at least 20 years. I approached the door and I opened it. Everything was extremely dark since there were no windows. Only a small amount of light from the sun was able to pass through tiny holes in the roof. I took a flashlight to see better and I immediately noticed something strange. The house looked way bigger from inside. I kept exploring and discovered that there were at least 20 different rooms here. At this point, I was certain that something strange was happening here. I continued my exploration and found some very strange rooms. I remember seeing a room with 5 chairs, a table, and a bed stuck to the ceiling. There was a room with many candles on the ground making a circle as well, and even a room with images of totally random people I'd never seen before, everywhere on the walls. Some of the rooms seemed totally normal, except that they didn't seem abandoned at all. I even found a bottle of milk that looked like it was still drinkable, even though the expiration date was a day in 1987. Some rooms looked completely untouched and stuck in time while others didn't. The rooms were all very different. I passed from a gymnastics hall to what seemed to be a clothing store. After exploring the place for a duration that seemed to be roughly 3 hours, I decided to go downstairs. While I was going down, I heard a scream, the most terrifying thing I could possibly hear. I can't even find the words to describe how scary it was. A few seconds later, I heard footsteps approaching me. Something was chasing me. I ran as fast as I could, trying to find the exit room from this infinite house. I somehow found it. Before leaving the house, I quickly looked behind me, and what I saw terrified me. There was a human-like silhouette chasing me, but I knew this wasn't a human. This was something much worse. I ran as fast as I could to my house. After that, I couldn't go outside anymore. I pretended to be sick so that my friends and my family didn't worry too much about me because for some reason I didn't feel comfortable telling them what happened. 2 years later, I finally told my friends what happened. They instantly believed me because they are very good friends. We've known each other from so many years, and they know I wouldn't lie just to get their attention. So we decided to go back there. As we were approaching the house, I was becoming more nervous. I thought I heard the same scream I heard 2 years ago. When we arrived, I discovered with astonishment that the house was gone. There was nothing to suggest that there had ever been a house there, not even foundations. 3 weeks later, I told what happened to an elderly man named Charles who's been living in the same village as me his whole life. This old man told me that he remembers a long time ago there was a man who lived in this house. Charles didn't know much about this guy. All he knew about him was that he died around the 60s and that he liked to withdraw from society. I guess that explains why this house was that deep in the forest. But how do you explain that I found a bottle of milk with the expiration date in 1987 if he died in the 60s? And why was the house so big? Why were some of the rooms stuck in time? What was that strange silhouette that was chasing me? And why did the house disappear? I guess I'll never have the answer to these questions. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment and subscribe.